A young woman moves to Italy to become a nun and devote her life to the church to escape from the darkness that looms over her. Sound cool? Because I'm here to talk about the first Omen from 2024. Okay, so first thing first, everyone is, comparing this to Immaculate from last week, and for good reason. And I liked Immaculate, but I think I liked the first Omen even more. And for me, this was one of the more surprising films from the last year or so. Now let me backtrack to a few weeks ago. My girlfriend told me about this film. She told me that she wanted to see it, and I gotta say, instantly, not because she wanted to see it, but I just had zero interest. I mean, I love the original Omen just as much as the next guy, but I had just assumed that this was going to be a total, franchise cash grab. I didn't watch a trailer, I didn't read any reviews or interviews or anything like that. I just ignored it. And I'm being open and honest here with you because I always am, and I'm embarrassed to have written off something so effortlessly. I mean, all the effort that went into making this, and I was going to just, make a completely blind judgment. And while I'm being honest here, the only reason I decided to check this out was, I got to admit, the very positive reviews by, film reviewers that I trust. I mean, it's 2024, I'm 41 years old, and I should know better, but hey, I'm growing all the time, right? Now, I will say that although, it's cool to have more story in a franchise that you like, prequels are usually just best left avoided. More often than not, they kind of diminish the mystery of something, best left alone. That said, I think this film was as good as it possibly could have been, and I really appreciate that. I mean, it had a few nods, to the classic 1976 film, mostly at the beginning, but it didn't rely on gimmicks at all. This was directed by Arkasha Stevenson, hopefully I'm saying that right, and it's actually her feature-length debut, and I have to say, it's goddamn impressive. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on her work, because if you ask me, she is a rising star. And you also have an excellent cast, with the standouts, in my opinion, being Nell Tiger-Free and Ralph Ineson. I can't help that maybe Arkasha Stevenson was influenced by The Witch from 2015, because there are two connections here. One being the aforementioned Ralph Ineson, who I think is just fantastic in both films. The other being the music, with Mark Corvin providing the score for both films. And I mean, I made the Mark Corvin connection really early on, and I'll admit, maybe, because it's so similar to the Witch score, but damn it, it works so well, and I just love it. I've described the sound of the scores as the sound of witches singing around a fire in a dark forest. And that was probably the most nerdy thing you've heard all day. So the film here centers around Margaret, played by Nell Tiger-Free, who I wasn't previously familiar with, by the way. It's 1971, and she moves to Italy from the US to take her vows at a Catholic church/orphanage. You don't know a lot about her, but she seems to struggle with something that she doesn't quite understand, something maybe mentally. She suffers from hallucinations, and I got the feeling that maybe she kind of uses religion to, as a way to cope with her struggles. Fair enough. And shortly after her arrival, she's approached by Father Brennan, played by Ralph Ineson, who you see in the beginning. He has come to Italy to investigate some suspicious activity that has been going on in the church, something sinister. And I gotta say, I would definitely recommend this film. As I said, it's set in 1971, but it doesn't really go out of its way to look or feel like a 70s film. I mean, I would have been totally okay with that, but this is a slick-looking, modern film with just enough arty-type shots to get me interested in Arkasha Stevenson. And there's some fairly edgy stuff here for a film that I expected to play it rather safe. The music from Mark Corvin, as I said, is absolutely chilling and adds a ton of atmosphere. The performances are great all around, not just from the leads. And Nell Tiger-Free, she goes the extra mile, and I can kind of compare her performance to others from from the past stuff that I like. I'm gonna throw out there like Jennifer Carpenter from The Exorcism of Emily Rose, Linda Blair from The Exorcist. I know these are big claims, and even, hear me out, Isabelle Adjani from Possession from 1981. Anyone else get that vibe? And even though I do find prequels to be, largely unnecessary, I liked the story here. The pacing was, I'm gonna say, perfect. For a 2-hour runtime, it feels pretty tight, not packed with filler or anything like that. It kept me engaged. There's plenty of tension here, a nice dreadful aura when needed, and even some fairly shocking gore. And it really is a pretty beautiful looking film and not ruined by overdone CGI, which I think is important to mention. So I mean, again, did we need this storyline? Did we need this film? We really didn't, but I enjoyed it pretty thoroughly, and I can't wait to buy a physical copy and watch it again. I'd fully recommend this to all fans of like 70s occult horror films, especially the good old satanic stuff like The Omen, The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, hell, even The Devil's Reign. Whatever, just check it out, let me know your thoughts, and be nice about it. Use your manners, we're all friends here. I'm giving the first Omen a 7.5 out of 10. Cheers, guys.